So today I want to talk about the German twisted cast on, and that's the cast on that I use for my Ziggy hat on this internal turned brim here. It's very similar to a long tail cast on. In fact, I've seen it called a stretchy long tail cast on in a couple of places, and I think you'll see why in a moment. The nice thing about this cast on is that it is super stretchy. So it's great for the bottoms of sweaters. It's great for necks of sweaters. It's great for hats and mitts and things like that, anywhere you need to have an extra amount of stretch. So to begin with, just like with the long tail cast on, you want to make sure that you have enough yarn ready for your actual cast on. So this is the end of my yarn, and I've pulled out about 3, sometimes 4 times the amount of circumference that I'm looking for. If I want to be really careful and not have to do it over, I'll pick out 4 times the amount of my circumference. So once I've gathered that much yarn, I'm going to keep my tail end over here. That's about how much I want to have to be able to weave in. This is the yarn I'm going to use for my cast-ons. So over here is where I'm going to put in my slip knot. So I'm just going to pull out a little extra yarn here. I can make this happen. So I'm going to put in a slip knot right over here and grab my needles. Not everyone uses a slip knot, but I prefer to use a slip knot if at all possible. So let me move this around so it's easier to see. Just like with the long tail cast on, you're going to be working with both the yarn from your ball of yarn and from that long tail that you set aside. And we're going to use a slingshot arrangement with our fingers. So you can see that we have maybe a triangle here or a V. We're going to take our index finger and thumb and put them right in between. And we're going to open them up like this. So you end up with what looks a little bit like a slingshot. Okay, let me show you that one more time. So I have my working yarn here from my ball, and I have my long tail down here. And I'm going to take my index finger and my thumb and put them together through the V, wrap my hand around the other 2 pieces of yarn, and then open it up. So we have a nice slingshot there. And what we're going to do is use both strands of yarn to create stitches on our needle. All right, now I'm going to show this to you once in regular speed, and then I'm going to break it down into slow motion for you. So I'm going to go around those 2, back through the loop, around this thread, and out through the X to create a stitch. So let's break this down so you can see it a little bit better. The first thing I'm going to do is turn my hand and go underneath both strands. See that? Going underneath both strands, and then I'm going to come back through the center. Okay, so under both, through the center, and then around to catch this other strand over here and pull it through the little X I've created. All right, let's do it again. Okay, I'm going to go turn my hand, go under both strands of yarn and through, around to catch this one, go underneath it, and pull it through that little X hole that I've created. We're going to turn our hand, go underneath both, through, over and under that one, and then through the little hole. Right? Under, through, around, and then through your little hole. Under both strands, through the loop, around and under, and then pull it through your X. That is the German twisted cast on, and it will produce a really stretchy cast on because you're basically gathering a lot of yarn for each stitch, more than you are for the long tail cast on or other non-stretchy cast ons. And that extra little bit of yarn is going to allow the cast on to be nice and stretchy.